Hello everybody and welcome to the latest episode of Hearthstone Tips. This time I would like to tell you 3 things that we can all learn from popular Hearthstone players. Number 1. Stay calm and relax at all times. When there are hundreds and even thousands of people following your every move while you are playing Hearthstone, it may be quite hard to stay focused on the actual game. One tiny misplay and the chat will be full of smart Alex who were only waiting to let everybody know what happened. One complaint or even just a slightly disappointed frown and people will start shaking those salty emos like there was no tomorrow. Yet, most popular Hearthstone players and streamers will maintain an overall positive attitude most of the time. Or when was the last time you've seen people like Trump or Hafu getting truly upset about something that happened to them in-game? The reasons why those people manage to keep such a calm attitude are manifold. Sure, it may be in their nature, but I am certain that most popular Hearthstone players are straight up professional about it. They have realized the fact that getting mad over something that can't be influenced in the first place, for example RNG events, which are admittedly quite numerous in Hearthstone, is simply not worth the energy. Streamers like Kripparrian, who's without a doubt the overlord of all absurd Twitch chats out there, even take it to the next level and capitalize on people's mocking reactions by emphasizing their own saltiness. And then they highlight their most pitiful moments in some of their YouTube video on demands. The common Hearthstone peon should take note of how the war chiefs handle their misfortune. It sounds harder than it actually is. Just like a good chef knows the right amount of salt for his recipe, so should you. Number 2. Don't forget that you're not always right. The discussion about whether a certain deck, feel free to replace the term deck with build, spec, talents or mastery depending on what game you're talking about, is viable or not, is as old as competitive gaming itself. Now please do not get me wrong, constructive criticism is not bad at all. Elevating yourself to a position, however, from which you dictate others what is wrong and what is right is straight up disrespectful. While most popular Hearthstone players would probably never claim to know the absolute truth about the game, there are some among their ranks that tend to disregard certain decks while favoring others. That is of course legit and their privilege, as they are considered to be expert on this subject. But as with all experts, they can't be always right. The same goes for Hearthstone pros. During last week's Seed Story Cup 2 for instance, Team Templestorm's Reynad, who has gained popularity and fame for his great impact on the meta thanks to his exceptional deck crafting skills, lost against Root Gaming's Xixo, who was using a shaman deck that Raynor had considered to be inferior to the one he was using. In another example, Kripparrian, who is a die-hard arena veteran, used to avoid drafting the Stormpike Commando in the past because he simply thought the card was not useful at all, mainly due to its marginal 2 health and relatively high mana cost. These days, observant viewers of his stream will have noticed that his attitude towards the Dwarven Gunner has changed quite a bit, and Kripparrian even admitted himself that he was wrong about guessing the Stormpike's value. What I'm trying to elaborate here is the fact that even popular Hearthstone players or streamers with a vast knowledge of the game can be proven wrong. Yet it is the sophisticated way of how they deal with these misinterpretations that is part of why they manage to climb all the way to the top. Us mere mortals should be encouraged to follow the Hearthstone demigod's example. Try to stick to your own convictions until they are proven wrong, and try to be open-minded and flexible when it comes to adjusting cards and tuning decks after realizing something had not really worked out as intended. Number 3. Work hard and love what you're working for. The difference between a good player and a champion is the reason they are playing for. No matter what esports you're looking at, the people who have accumulated the most glory, the most triumph, and the most fame all enjoy what they're doing. The moment you are forcing yourself to keep playing no matter what without actually enjoying the game is the moment you should stop. Popular Hearthstone players are able to play for hours and hours without getting tired of the game. Sure, they make a living out of it, but that can't be reason enough to sustain the emotional rollercoaster that Hearthstone puts you through. I am convinced that all of them can only work that hard because even if the game is not treating them very well, they still love what they're doing. I am also sure that if the average Hearthstone player repeatedly keeps that important lesson in mind and actively works on focusing more on the entertainment Hearthstone provides him with, rather than on the frustration it might cause, he's going to step up his own game tremendously and will eventually achieve the goals that he has set for himself. What I'm about to say now may sound a little bit harsh, but I think it is the truth. When I read comments on some of my videos in which I provided tips to make people better Hearthstone players, I often get to read things like, "Oh my god, how can you actually make videos about this topic? The game is pay to win anyway." Or, "This game is a piece of it'll never let me win, no matter what class I play." I usually don't bother responding to such comments, as I neither feel sorry for these people, nor would I find encouraging words for them anyway. The only thing I keep thinking to myself is that their mindset is that of someone who will never have what it takes to become a popular Hearthstone player. Thank you very much for listening and watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to drop a thumbs up or even leave a subscription if you want to. See you again in next week's episode of Hearthstone Tips. May the card gods always watch over you.